Hey, what's going on, people? How's everybody going? I hope everybody is fine and well and blessed. So, today I want to talk about what we teach our children, what would our children learn. Because I was having a conversation with a friend and it came up and talking. Okay, well, here's my opinion. My opinion is our children should not go to school. It's not to say that they shouldn't have an education, it's to say that their education should come from their families, whether it be collectively or individually. Because I would look at it like this: each day we get our children up, tell them get ready for school. We see them briefly in the morning. They gone all day. Then we see them in the evening, and for most households, that means you're gonna have dinner time, some homework time, maybe some chill out time, get an hour of TV or something, however you choose to do it. And then you go to sleep. You do this generally 5 days out of the week. And to me, it don't make sense. Now, the reason it don't make sense, especially as a brother, a black man, it don't make sense to me because I think about when I was a child and I went to school. I didn't like, let's say, history. Couldn't stand history, civics, uh, science. I like science. Math, it was okay. But the point is, the reason I didn't like history and civics is because it meant nothing to me. Even as a young child, I knew that this wasn't something that was prevalent in my life. You know what I'm saying? That when I hear in history about black people, the only thing that I hear is about, hey, uh, a black man made peanut butter. A black man uh, built Washington D.C. and Chicago. But oh yeah, and the famous is there was this thing called slavery, and the way they explained it though is like, well, it was slavery, but it wasn't that bad. And we'll talk about it for scatter it throughout your history book somewhere near the middle and almost the ending of it. Okay, that doesn't give me a sense of identity. It doesn't tell me how to be fruitful in my community. It doesn't tell me how to be an instrument that is used to build my community or to at least maintain it. You see what I'm saying? But what it will do is it'll teach me how somebody else established their community and their society. So I'm thinking like as an adult, if I had the opportunity and yeah, I would probably make it my business to knowing what I know now to have my child or children be, when I say raised by me, I mean raised by me and my family. Meaning, meaning their education, I would be responsible for, and like I said, the family as well. Because what do I want my child to know? I want my son and my daughter. I want my children to know how to take care of themselves, how to be righteous people, how to recognize game so game don't be run on them, how to manage through society and life, right? So if I want you to know all this, and I'm a black man, why would I not want my son and or daughter to see how I do it? You know what I mean? If my son is with me and throughout the day he's learning practical things, or my daughter, you know what I'm saying? But right now we talk about my son. If he's with me and he sees, well, dad goes here. Let's say I have a job. Okay, obviously I can't bring him to work, um, but he doesn't have to go to school. So what he can do is, if we have our minds right, he can come to work with me, and we can find something for him to do. You know what I'm saying? He could, well, depend on his age, and this is all just for an example. But he could learn the value of working for your dollar. He can throughout the day, I don't know, clean the office or give him something silly to do, not silly, but he'll learn, okay, this is what we do. We work and at a point in time we get paid. Right? Now, at the same time, he with me every day. Let's say I fall into that rut of going to a job and punching the clock and working for somebody. I want to come out of it, right? So I don't want that for my son. I don't want him to do the same thing, right? So if he kicking it with me every day though, and I let him know while we talking, while we going through our day, man, it was a hard day today. I don't want you to have to go through this. So I want you to pay attention to everything, and I want you to be looking out for opportunities, something that you feel like you want to do, something that you feel like you skilled at, and explain to him what that stuff means, uh, because this is how you're gonna make your living. I'm gonna help you, put you in a position, you know how we do it, put him in a position to get his own thing started. Okay. But if we all are thinking of the same way, thinking of things in the same way, then we will have a change, a forward progress. So, not to get too far off the subject, same thing with the girl. If I had a daughter, I would want my daughter to get her education, primarily from her mother or other ladies in the family, right? Hey, and it doesn't have to be a uniform thing, or it doesn't have to be like a punishment. Why should you be punished? For to learn things. Why do I have to get up early in the morning, get out my bed, worry about getting dressed and putting on the fine duds and everything to go out? Rather I ride a bus or stand on the bus stop, or if I get dropped off to get my parents up and have to have somebody take me. You know what? It's a lot easier if I get up when I want to. What I'm saying? I'm at home with my family. I know that when I get up, I got chores to do. You know, I know I'm not gonna be allowed to sleep all day because my mom not having that. You know what I'm saying? And nobody, no other adult in the house is having that because everybody's got something to do. Either we're working our jobs or we're doing chores. But this is what we do. There's time for chilling. Oh yeah, you know what I'm saying. But hey, and it's time. I mean, well, think about if you're hanging out with your little ones now. You know, well, not right now, obviously. But if you're hanging out with your little ones and you're sitting at the dinner table, or you just stop at the store and get a snack, or whatever, and you take the opportunity to say, hey, do you know like something practical that you want to teach your child? You got a little one. Do you know the the 5 times 1 and is, and what 5 times all the way up to 100? You make up little games and you teach them. That's just a way that they can learn without being in a classroom or having to go be shuffled off somewhere or anything. So at this point, I want other people's opinion. I want your opinion. Do you think that it's imperative for children to be sent to schools? And do you think that's better than them learning at home? And if so, why? I'm working on trying to make this more of an interactive thing Like kind of hook it up to where I can have callers call in as opposed to presetting uh, guests like I've done so far. So, but it takes time. Got to live life, and just if you have any comments, though, I encourage you to write your comments in the comment section. And if you like the videos, then go ahead and check us out. Um, like I said, if there's any subject that comes up that you have any something to say about, hey, jump in. This is about talking about changing things through speech. One day we're gonna talk about the power of word, and or you like to say in the book, power of the tongue. But right now, I'm gonna stick with the subject of teaching our children. See, if I were in that position and I had a son, my son would be sitting right here with me right now while I'm doing this because he needs to hear the kind of stuff that we're talking about. This is something that I would want my child to know. Hey, son, this is something that actually has something to do with your life. This conversation or these types of conversations are conversations that you can use to better yourself and to better your community, because that's what it's all about. Well, what else is there about? Is it really about me having babies so that I can turn my babies over to somebody's army, or I can have my babies diss me in order to go and make somebody else rich or keep somebody else rich? Is that sanity? I don't think so. So, what is a solution? Again, I'm all for. They call it homeschooling, but what I'm thinking about, we could use the term homeschooling for the sake of understanding. But what I'm thinking about is more like get rid of the education system as we know it. Okay, my child should not be anybody's child. Should not be subject to, if I go to this place for learning, these kids don't like me over here, or this neighborhood I got to worry about my child being killed going to school. You know what I'm saying? I'm forcing my child. Child might know, dad know, you know what I'm saying? The dudes over there, man, we got murder beef, or whatever the term is. And why would I tell my child, I don't care, son. You will go out of here and you will go there anyway to get an education. Think about what you're saying. Think about what I'm saying. Say it to yourself. You know, or your child knows. Man, it's difficult for me to do this. It's hard on me psychologically, mentally. Hell, that makes me a not happy person. Yet we turn around and force our children into it anyway. That's just one example. Or you take somebody like me in school. I didn't like going to school because the stuff that they was teaching wasn't worth me sitting there for, as far as I was concerned. Even stuff that I felt like I should know, like or liked, like science or math, because when it came to me wanting to know it, it wasn't no thing for me to pick up them books and read them books. Oh yeah, I was taught how to read and write, when I was a little kid. So I'm saying, yeah, you teach them stuff that's gonna be pertinent to their life. You teach people how to read, write. Uh, you know, Forgive my background. My puppy is still a puppy, and he is just going crazy right now. We're gonna try to ignore that and keep going, right? I mean, this is live, you know what I'm saying? And I'm a real dude talking real shit with real people. So hey, the realness of it is, yeah, I got a dog. All right, shit. All right. So anyway, back to what we're talking about. Um, no, like you look at little kids when you take them to school. The first thing you know is kindergarten or preschool or whatever. Well, now they tell you, they need to be in their pre-K. You know what I'm saying? And when I first heard that, I laughed, and well, and I had to check myself because I'm a person that when I hear stupid shit, I'm gonna say something about it, right? And I had to check my mouth a lot of times because I don't want to necessarily hurt nobody's feelings. And my mama told me about pre-K, and I was like, I had to check myself. But I'm thinking, what the fuck you mean? We have been convinced now that we should freely take our infant children and put them in the care of other people to educate them. I wouldn't have a problem with that if that education consisted of an education that's beneficial to the child and or his or her community. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, you making drones. You allowing yourself to be made into a drone, or you allowing your children to be made into drones. You know what a drone is, right? And I'm not talking about the little flying thing. Not just that. A drone is like an automaton, a robot. It's conditioned or it's programmed to do a certain thing, and that's what it does. All right. We are feeding this system that allows us to be drones by forcing our children to go to these things called schools. Now, when I was in school, they started at kindergarten, and they had preschool too. Okay, because I started when preschool when I was 3. But a lot of children, the reason they start doing it earlier is because they want to get in the kid's head before you do. You know what I'm saying? Because what used to happen was when a child would go to school, it ain't too many children that didn't do it. They would cry. They would be heartbroken because their mother was taking them, or their dad was taking them, or their mom and dad was taking them here and leaving them in a strange place with strangers for an education. Even then, they knew it wasn't right. In their soul, they know, mm, these ain't my people. I shouldn't be. No, mommy, don't make me do this. They crying. Ah. Hell, sometimes the mothers cry too. You did. But the point is, we forced them to do it anyway. Okay? We actually forced them to go with these strangers to learn heaven knows what. Okay? Now, I'm not saying that there are not things that people should learn. So don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I mean exactly what I said, which was we need to destroy, well, I'm not gonna use the words destroy, but I'm gonna say we need to dismantle the education system such as it is and re-examine living our lives. You talk about your future, you talk about the future of your children, talk about your neighborhoods. Look at our neighborhoods. Look at our neighborhoods. That's a subject for something else. But if our children are educated by us about things that matter to us, then we will have like-minded little people growing up. But sending your children off someplace else for an education, they're not learning how to be like you or how you like it or anything positive or conducive. Because now that child is forever acting like forced to like acting or being on their best behavior. I'm forced to go away and learn these rules and be on my best behavior. Then when I'm at home, out of respect, I'm forced to accept some things from these people whom I barely know. Yeah, they my parents, but hell, since I was 3, I spend more time with a bunch of strangers than I do with them. Getting the education so that when I get older, I don't really know how to respect this dude. Or I don't really know what's too far going with this lady or any other adults. But I guarantee you, if I was with my mom and daddy or the other adults in my family who all think the same way, at least somewhat alike, bet you I would learn not only how to read and write, but I'm gonna learn how to respect my elders. I'm gonna learn how to respect myself. I'm gonna learn it's okay to be a part of my community. As a matter of fact, I need to be a part of my community. I'm gonna learn self worth. I'm gonna learn self acceptance. I might even learn how to turn off the television so that I can learn to love myself as a person again. Oh yeah, that's a whole nother thing. Let's talk about the television, boy. Television, television is a very powerful tool of the enemy. The enemy, an enemy is anything or anyone that would seek to do you harm. You can consider that an enemy. This educational system, so-called educational system, is an enemy. It's an enemy to your children. It's an enemy to yourself. It's an enemy to your way of life and everything that you love. How many times have you heard the phrase charity starts at home? Eh? Everything starts at home. So if you start to abandon home, home ain't the same no more. Then what does it become? What does it become then? It becomes not home, something else. And if you no longer have a home, then where are you? All of this stuff goes together. It's all correlated together. In videos past, I just kind of stepped into the water with doing a little like conversation. I want to invite people to conversate. I want to talk about things like we're talking about right now. And those were I'm gonna have more shows like that where I have will have people on the phone, um, and we'll have more discussions. There's no limits to the amount of discussion we can have. Um, that's what it's called discussion for. And so again, I encourage you to like us, to join in, leave a comment, leave a couple comments, and when I'm able to get it up and running, have you call in and certainly take your turn at the mic because this is a part of a healing process. We don't even know, most of us don't even know that we are injured. So it's hard to recognize healing. So I guess what I do is I run around, I live my life. That's what I do. I don't rush. I just live my life. But wherever I am directed to be, I do my best to interject some of that spiritual peace, some of that spiritual love to others, because we need it. That's the only thing that is gonna hold us together. And I'm not talking religion. So don't get it twisted. I'm not talking religion at all. I don't do religion. However, don't be afraid to talk about it. I'm willing to talk about anything. I'm certainly versed in religion. all kind of religions. Um, so if you want to talk about that, hey, leave a suggestion, and I'll take your suggestions on what our topics could be. That's not a problem. I believe, like I said, this is a conversation. I want to make it as live as I possibly can, so that everybody can be heard. Because it's time for us to be heard. You know, it's they do have these wonderful tools now, um, for like YouTube. You know, wonderful tool, absolutely wonderful. How long have I been wanting to talk to people, to say what's on my mind, to try and find a way to unify our voices, Yeah, so hey, I love it. I love it, absolutely. And I love you too. You know what I'm saying? You don't know me and I don't know you, but spiritually, we are one. You know what I'm saying? And I know I just did two for one, right? Whatever. This is live. I'm chilling. I'm a real dude, real person. I thank you for joining me. Like I said, feel free to leave a comment, leave a like, and join me next time. Um, I'm not going to say what the title of our next video will be, because I kind of do it as it comes to me, and or I have a conversation like I had a conversation with a friend about you know educating our children and what education they should receive. This is a subject I would hope that a lot of people respond to, because we all either have children, are related to children, and certainly have been children, and we should be concerned with that particular history as opposed to the history of the Americas or the history of uh, Italy, or Constantinople. Who cares? You know what I'm saying? That's not going to help us right now. Right now, we need to get up on our own history, our personal history, and our personal history together collectively, to get together to say that way ain't working. We need to do something else, and jump out there to do something else. Nothing wrong with that. I'm doing it right now. This conversation is a part of jumping out there and doing something else. So think about it, my people. I love you. Join me next time. Have a great evening and be blessed. Stay blessed. All right. Peace.